Good morning on a beautiful Tuesday, October 17th. Always meet on Tuesdays. Always meet on Tuesdays. So, hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully your business is popping. Hopefully you're feeling a little wind in your sails. And if not, we're going to put a little wind in your sails. Cool. Today, we have to celebrate some people. I have a few additional market updates for you as it relates to market positions that I think can help you. I shared this with some people last week and I got 2 or 3 text messages in response saying that helped me win a listing. And I was like, if that helped you win a listing, it'll probably help other people win a listing and I should share that information with people. We got some compliance updates for you and then we'll rock and roll. Sound good? All right, beautiful. So, I'm going to jump right into office updates for you, office operations updates, because there's quite a few to share with you. And first things first, no team meeting next week, the 24th. Okay. No team meeting next week, the 24th. Skipping a week for a variety of reasons. I actually have to head down to Austin. We'll be in a different ways, but I will be in Austin and I'll come back the first week in November and give you everything you need to know as it relates to why I was in Austin. But stay tuned. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving. Don't worry. It's all good. But some updates for you. So we'll get those to you when I'm back upon my return. So no team meeting next week, Tuesday, the 24th. Also, there's good news and bad news. You ready for it?
Yeah.
What do we want first? Good news or bad news?
Bad.
Bad is next time you go to innovation, you're probably going to experience some dust.
Okay.
You want to know what the good news is? It's the bright side of growth. And the bright side of growth is we're remodeling the innovation space in order to create a more welcoming and productive environment as we continue to grow. A little backstory to that space. About 4 or 5 years ago, we tried to do a deal with a different real estate brokerage that was in that space. And at the end of the day, the deal didn't come together for a variety of reasons, and that's totally cool. We wish those guys the best of luck. The bright side to that is we were able to acquire that space at pennies on the dollar because they made some poor business decisions that put them in a tough spot. And we utilized that space to a point in which that we are today. However, the space isn't conducive to where we want to go tomorrow. Make sense? And we have kicked the can and kicked the tires on a lot of different options. And we realized at the current moment of time, renovating it was the easiest, not the easiest, but just from an economical standpoint of where the market of the moment is, renovating that space was a better choice fiscally than it was to go start from ground zero, square one. And we're not putting an inordinate amount of money into it where that we can't continue to grow where that's our forever home. It's just where we're going to be for the foreseeable future today. Make sense? So what we're doing out there, just so you guys know, because I know a lot of people utilize that space, as I call it, kind of like the center of the universe in southeastern Wisconsin along that corridor. We're adding additional conference rooms. We're adding additional private office spaces. We have 2 phone booths on over because we recognize that while the space is great and there's a lot of natural light and it's a lot of open, there's not a lot of space for private conversations if you need to jump on the phone or have a conversation. So there's 2 phone booths that will be moving in, and then the printer and marketing materials will be closer to the front desk. So every time you walk in there and you want to say hello to Caitlin and Bella, that you have the opportunity to go say hello to great people up front. So stay tuned. Surprise, surprise, we started last night. Wasn't entirely sure. We've been working on this for the last several months, and we didn't know when we were going to start until I walked into TOSA yesterday at 3:00, and there were hammers and saws and everything else. So we started. And I apologize. We didn't give some people a bit more of a heads up, but most of the work is done between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. So it shouldn't really interrupt the business operations of it. But you can see just within one night's of work, some of the changes that have occurred and some of the things that we're trying to do in order to make that space a more productive and welcoming environment. Cool? Sweet. With that, couple other things. We've gotten some feedback on the new listing sheet. Okay. Couple things to pay attention to. One, we're going to start adding in buyer needs. Okay. And the reason why we're adding in buyer needs is we've heard a lot of people say, well, if I can get this person into something, I will have a listing that will be forthcoming. So stay tuned from Willis as it relates to some changes on the submission for that, so that we're going to be seeking, if you have a buyer need that you would like to submit, the communities they're looking for, the price points, the bed bath, and any additional notes that may be particular to your buyer needs. So stay tuned. That will likely be coming out this week on the Friday, Monday emails you'll be getting. Second change that will be forthcoming that we also heard your feedback to. In every single location from North Shore to Lake Country to Innovation and everywhere in between, every single week now, yes, you're still going to get your emails on Friday and on Monday, and we're going to scrub the list to send it back out to you. The other thing that we're going to do is the team leaders in each of the locations are going to source listing information for those of you that didn't respond to the email or didn't want to respond to the email, or things that you know that you have coming up and you were triggered because you were sitting in team meeting. So every week we are going to be asking, whether you're on Zoom or in the meeting, we're going to be asking to source more of that information. And I'm going to ask these guys to go be gold diggers and go find the gold of the listings you know that you have in the back of your pocket that you may have forgotten to have submitted to the new listing sheet. And we're going to go work the room. But the other byproduct of it that we recognize and realize that we want to do for you is create more of that environment of collaboration and continuity of what it is and sharing information amongst the group. Sound good? So stay tuned to next week's or the following week, November, when we start implementing that as a way in which to create more of that dialogue that we recognize had been lost in some of the process that we implemented to create more efficiency. Cool? Sweet. This is where two-way feedback really helps us so that we can really hone into what it is that you guys want and desire, and we can still get you the information that you need to access. All right. Secondly, as it relates to operations, a lot of operations updates today. Top Workplaces survey goes live tomorrow. You'll be getting an email from Energage. This is the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel survey, very public survey. It's totally 100% anonymous. We actually don't see any of the results or any of the feedback. Let me take that back. We see the results. We don't see the feedback. So you can be as brutally honest as you'd like to be. We've been very fortunate to be number one the last 2 years in a row. And I don't take that position lightly. And I view that as a distinct honor and mad respect for what it is that our leadership teams do every single day to make this an incredibly welcoming, inclusive, and diverse environment for everybody. So that survey will go out tomorrow, the 18th. Would appreciate your engagement and responses to see where we land in our top workplaces in 2024. Cool. And then lastly, this season 2, episode 3 of Willis is 5 and 5. Get to know Tina Reddick. Tina is an incredible woman down in the New Berlin office. She runs a group called 1120 Real Estate, has been doing this for a long time across a variety of different brokerages, has been with KW now for, I believe, 4 or 5 years. Tina's an incredible person, lives down in Muskego, has a couple kids, just a great woman, great person to get to know. And again, our way is trying to drive engagement to get to know different people across different geographies. So check out Tina's 5 and 5 questions coming up. All right, with that, I'm flipping it over to, I believe, Steph. Steph, what do we got coming from a compliance standpoint? Or it could be Sheriff Reed and I could be wrong.
No, it's me. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. First, just wanted to thank everybody for attending yesterday's contract training. We had Kathy Shaw go over her buyer consultation and it was great. A lot of participation from our agents. And again, I just want to encourage both new agents and seasoned agents to come to our contract training because it just, the back and forth and conversation that we have is just incredibly valuable to everybody. So just wanted to thank everybody again for coming. And I was reminded yesterday, and I've made it my personal mission to help Lindsay drive everybody to kwrealtymke.com. And Kathy mentioned yesterday that she pulls the market stats that Charlie goes over every week and adds them into her buyer consultation, which I thought was brilliant. So I just wanted to remind everybody from the kwrealtymke.com agent portal that we put our team meeting slides there every week. So next slide, you'll be led to a Google Drive folder and you can get a PDF of our team meeting every week. So you can just pull the slides right from there, take screenshots if you want to use them in social media marketing or buyer consultations, etc. So just wanted to remind people that that was there.
Perfect. Steph, one of the things I will also point out too, I've started adding parentheses. So if you're trying to go back to remember, oh, what team meeting did I say that in or whatever, I'm trying to add some Cliff Notes versions so that you can find what I would consider to be the meat and potatoes of the content. So you can dive right into whatever the date it is of the slides you're looking for.
Awesome. And then just a reminder, so we have another special guest, Jared with MLS is going to be back with us, and going to show us how to run MLS reports. So again, this I think is a great one for seasoned agents and new agents alike to attend. I know that I need to learn how to do this. So please come next week noon on Monday. And then oddly, we've just had a lot of questions about the addendum A as of late. So I just wanted to remind everybody, yes, the GMAR addendum A is we mostly think of it when there is a seller contribution that we need to add, or if there's a testing contingency that we need to add, or well water. And I get the question, and Joni gets the question a lot of, do we need to use this if we're not using those contingencies? And yes, so buried within like pages 2 and 3 are a lot of provisions for the buyers and sellers that help protect us and help protect our buyers and our sellers. So on the next page, obviously, I don't want to go through the entire GMAR addendum A, but just a couple examples of provisions in here that help protect our buyers and ourselves. So for example, the underground storage tank and basement fuel oil tank provision. So if one is discovered prior to closing, the seller needs to provide the buyer written confirmation that the tank has been properly closed or removed. So again, these are those like things that might come up within the transaction that we're not prepared for, but we are covered if they do come up. Abandoned wells is another provision that I can think of. And then most notably, coming up to help protect ourselves, information on promotional materials. So this is just another checkpoint for our buyers. We have it in our KW disclosures as well, just to say that if there's anything material to the buyer as it relates to room measurements or how they want to use the property, that they need to independently verify that. So if there is an issue after closing, we can point back to this as well. So just again, wanted to remind everybody, if there's no contingencies that you need to use within the addendum A, still add it to the offers. And then just again, reminder, we have our GMAR dues. Look for the email from Michelle Cohn sent on September 5th. I do not believe she has been sending out reminder emails. In a couple of weeks, I'll have an update on everybody who has paid. But again, this is your only obligation this year. Just get these paid. That's all I got.
Sweet. Thank you, Steph. All right, with that, I'm flipping over to Brannick around building your pipeline for 2024.
All right, good morning, everybody. Okay. Did you guys know that there are only 11 weeks left in the year? So to some of you, short time, some maybe a long time, but this time of year usually goes pretty quickly with the holidays. But I just wanted to kind of go through just ways that you can build your pipeline for 2024. Now is a great time of year to start thinking through that and thinking of ways in which you can build that pipeline. So the next couple of slides I've covered before, but I think they are super important to kind of revisit from time and time again. So 4 laws of a database, you guys. You have to organize and you have to build it. You have to feed it every single day. And there are tools in which Keller Williams created in order to help you with these 4 laws of a database. You have to communicate with that database in a systematic way, and then you service those leads and those contacts that come your way. And reminder, more contacts equals more money. So I've shared this slide before. If you have not seen this slide, essentially, if you have more than 200 contacts, and you'll see that directly on that graph there. If you have more than 200 contacts in your database, you are 3 times more likely to hit your cap. So 3 times more likely, pretty big deal. So that's that direct correlation between the contacts in Command and GCI. And so there's ways in which Command was built in order to directly, correlate and help with those 4 laws of that database. And so with your contacts, that's going to help you organize and build that database, and you're going to feed it every single day. And so that command app that they built is going to help with feeding that every single day. So you can easily pick up your phone and add more context to your database. You're going to communicate to your database in a systematic way. Those are the smart plans. So those are ways in which you can automate that follow-up to your database. And then of course, you're going to service those leads. You're going to create that opportunity. Those are your transactions for your buyers and your sellers. So keep in mind too, you guys, smart plans, that's your future business. That's your future potential business that you're reaching out to on a consistent basis. And opportunities, that's your now business. That's your sales pipeline where you're managing every single transaction. So just keep that in mind. Keller Williams built Command in order to help with those 4 laws of that database. And so again, really great ways to start thinking about how you're going to build that pipeline. And so one of the things that we're going to hone in this week on training is smart plans, because that smart plan library is full of thousands of different smart plans, and Keller Williams is a culture of sharing. So not only are there smart plans in that library that Keller Williams created, but the rest of those are created by other KW associates, which they then share to that library. So again, I'm not joking when I say thousands of different smart plans. So you can literally rip off and duplicate and make your own smart plans. Pull different scripts from other people. What's working for other KW agents, you can see that directly in that library. So you can pull from different smart plans, create your own, build your own content, take bits and pieces of other smart plans, and kind of create those unique follow-up plans and automate those plans to reach out to your database on a consistent basis. And of course, then we've got that KW Milwaukee library as well with all of the local content that we create. So training this week, you guys, again, we're pulling in those playbooks from Mega Camp and we're implementing them. So this week, how to grow your database with housewarming parties. There's an agent who actually puts together housewarming parties for their buyer clients. And we're going to actually talk about, okay, we're going to run through those playbooks, and then we're going to say, okay, how can we implement this? How can we utilize and build our own smart plans, then follow up and invite people in our database to these parties, pre and post that event. So we're again taking these playbooks and learning how to implement them. So Thursdays at 11, every single one of these is on Zoom. They're recorded. You can watch back. So really great content. And there's so many different ways that you can follow up with your database, whether it's phone calls, text messages, emails, and it all comes back to that 36 touch, building that 36 touch program, and the different ways that you can do this through Command. And then just one last reminder, we are doing a bi-weekly compliance and Command and zip form training. So the next training is tomorrow at 9:30. So Steph and I are taking you through the entire process of creating that opportunity, drafting documents in zip forms, sending them for signatures, uploading those back into the opportunity in Command, and submitting for compliance review. So we've got a couple of trainings that are already up on YouTube if you want to check those out, but otherwise join us tomorrow live on Zoom at 9:30. That's it.
Sweet. So I want to challenge you on something. You can't have $1 million goal with a minimum wage work ethic. Straight up facts. And the amount of people I hear that like, oh, I didn't hit my goal this year. Oh, what did you do with your activities? Oh, I was a little lazy. Oh, I didn't do it. Or, oh, I didn't know what to do. I don't know how to diversify what I'm doing. Hello, wake up and pay attention. Lindsay is literally giving you tips, tricks, and strategies of the activities you can implement. And whether you've been in the business for a long time and you need to diversify what it is that you do because you've gotten stale, or you haven't done shit and you're complaining about why you've made $0, wake up. You can't have $1 million goals with a minimum wage work ethic. Okay. And guess what? Hint, hint, it's not getting easier in 24. So if you needed to hear that this morning, hopefully I was able to deliver it for you. And if you need to know what it is that you should do, tune into what Lindsay's providing, because there's incredible content there. And it amazes me when I hear people bitch about where they are in life and they do nothing to create action for it. There you go. End of rant. So, okay, here we go. On the flip side to that, there are people with minimum who do a lot, and we need to celebrate them. So here we go. Handful of people capped in the month of September, and they deserve to be recognized and supported, right? First up, someone who's an incredible person in our environment, always gives back. Kind of a little bit of a quiet assassin, just goes about her business in a really great way. September cappers, Lindsay Andrews, congrats on capping in the month of September. Next up, also a little bit on the choir side. You never know how successful she can be and how organized she is. She provides a lot of organization to Paul Nikolick's Chaos. Steph Cole, congrats on capping in the month of September. Next up, been at this game for about 2 years, came into it during a tough period, has done really, really well. Sarah Hughes, congrats on capping in the month of September. Next up, this guy's been with us for several years, continues to do really great things, just keeps plugging away, plugging away, plugging away. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Tyler Kohler, congrats on capping. Next up, someone who's near and dear to my heart. Why? Because he makes data-driven decisions. Brian Pat, B. Pat, congrats on capping in the month of September. Next up, this is my burn buddy, okay? For those of you, you'll laugh. Yes, in the North Shore. Yes, I go to burn boot camp. Yes, it's great. And Christy Robbins kicks my ass. Christy, congrats on capping in the month of September. Next up, been around for a while, does great things. Always incredibly engaging, ton of fun to be with. B. Schweppes, congrats on capping in the month of September. Another person whose business is growing despite the fact the industry is down and she had a fourth child. We seem to be on the same wavelength of our timing. Abby Wall, congrats on capping in the month of September. Another person goes about their business every single day, does what they need to get done, also manages another career, but has a really successful real estate business. Randy Young, congrats on capping in the month of September. 2 more out in Lake Country. Got to give a shout out to Michael Zadek. Michael, congrats on capping in the month of September. And finally, out in Lake Country, an incredible woman, always just goes about her business, has a young family, does her thing. Elena Zeman, congrats on capping in the month of September. Sweet. All right, here we go. Recognizing a few folks as it relates to the $1 Million Month Club in the month of September. Hold on. I skipped it. Home Run Club. I always start with the Home Run Club because it's the most important club that you can find yourself on. Why? 1 listing taken, 1 contract written, 1 contract closed. 1 listing taken, 1 contract written, 1 contract closed. It's the model of consistency in the way in which these people show up. Okay, handful of people to shout out this month: Andrea Cavello, Angie Waldron, Anitra Tatum, Ellen Pertel, Fred Seeley, Gail Ganley, James Heffernan, Jordan Shelton, Mary Beth Milkey, Melissa Bradley, Natasha Myers, Simonis, PY, Pat Young, Rob Wessel, Ross Treffert, Shawnee, Susan Fellows, Stacy G, Tracy Lukic, and Vershay Ward. Congrats on hitting Home Run Club in the month of September. Next up, $1 Million Month Club in the month of September. Shout out to Elena Zeman, Angela Funk, Betsy, Kathy Shaw, Doreen Drummel, Elise Bolt, Ellen Pertel, Ginger Lazovic, Holly Speranza, who's down at the $1 Million Operations Team event this week in Austin. Highly recommend if you have a team or are building a team. It's a great training. Their team is down there this week down in Austin. So Holly, congrats on investing in yourself. Janine J, Jessica, John Lorenz, Molitor, Katie Falk, Lori Soroke, Lindsay Andrews, Lindsay Weber, Martha Ola, Mary Beth Milkey, Megan, Melissa Bradley, Melissa Delzer, Nick Jensen, Nikki Kunick, Rick Reuven, Ross Trefford, Spencer Harvey, Stacy G, and Tyler Kohler rounding out the $1 Million Month in the month of September. All right, increase in business volume percentage this year versus last year in the month of September. So Katie Miller, Miller Marriott, Leah Bird, come on, Leah, I see you. Jason Roman, Matt Conley, Michael Langenball, Anna, Melissa Delzer, Rona Jones, Vershay, Nathan, Thomas Miller, Lizzie, Kelly, and Sheridan Stones, top 10 agents who had the highest percentage of increase in business in the month of September. All right, GCI earned on a team, top 10 for the year. This is on an annual basis. Janine, Dan Wild, Martha Ola, Kathy Shaw, Katie Falk, Steph Minnick, Kathy Rosenheimer, Steph Miller, Ginger Lazovic, Kirsten Lindstrom, Sue Nikolic, Will Stale, Maggie Drain, Elena Zeman, rounding out the top 10. GCI earned on the team. All right, September individual volume. Doreen Drummel leading the way. Molitor right clipping away at his heels. Here's a little testament to dedication. Molitor had a soft first quarter. I think he'd be the first to tell you. Okay, soft. The guy's coming on strong the last 4 or 5 months, absolutely crushing it. You'll see here in the year-to-date results. But I wanted to give a shout out to Molitor is a testament to what it is and what it remains to be consistent and how you get shit done. Melissa Bradley, Jessica Hanawi, Elise Bolt, Betsy Williamson, Nick Jensen, Tyler Kohler, Ross Treffer, John Lorenz, Lori, Lindsay Andrews, MBM, Mary Beth, Stacy G, Nikki Kunick, Melissa, Nada, Annie, Patrick Young, Zach Donnelly, rounding out top 15 for the month of September in individual volume. Now, agents control their units. Market gives you volume. Lori Sroke, 68 units. It's the power of when you have investors and how you can create economies of scale through several conversations. Okay, Molitor, Sarah Oberbrunner, Lindsay, Nick, Fetting, Kristen Stahulik, Bridget Ty, Melissa Bradley, Jessica Doreen, Joey, Jeff Johns, Betsy Williamson, Nikki Kunick, Ethan Masson, Damara Bolton. Now, individuals year to date. Becky Thomas leading the way at 17.1. Bridget Ty clipping away at 15.4. Molitor 13.8, rounding out the top 3. Then you got Oberbrunner, Betsy, Kristen, Lindsay, Doreen, Jessica, Melissa, Damara, Lori, Jeff Johns, Brian, B. Pat, Carla Florence, Nick Fetting, Mary Beth Milkey, Jean, Jill Fink, and Connie Cummings, rounding out the top 15 for individuals. Rolling it over to the teams. Team volume in the month of September: JSG, FRG, Gallagher, Stale, Team Trimble, Root River, On Point, Foxglove, Miller Marriott, Kindred, Dusty's team, A. Keyhome, Thrive, Fernwood, Fairhitton, Nikolic, Galen Brett, Wessels, and the Gossman Group, rounding out the top 15 teams in the month of September. Now, year-to-date units: JSG leading the way, 268, FRG 176, Root River 101, Stale 77, Duval 70, Miller Marriott 70, On Point, Fernwood, Nikolic, PPG, Fairhinton, Team Trimble, Dusty's, Thrive, Enlighten, Double Bolt, A. Keyhome, Champagne, Levine, and the Wilds, rounding it out for team units so far year-to-date. Now, year-to-date team volume: JSG leading the way, FRG, SRG, Gallagher, Lake Country, Team Trimble, On Point, Double Bolt, Duval, Fernwood, Miller Marriott, Nikolic Group, Dusty's team, PPG, Root River, Fair, Thrive, Kindred, the Wilds, A. Keyhome, and Champagne, rounding out the top 15 teams so far year-to-date through the month of September in 2023. Cool? A lot of people are having success. Who is it that you're trying to pace with? That's my question to you. You can't have $1 million goal with a minimum wage work ethic. Go find those who you are trying to emulate yourself after and go run at their pace and do their activities. This business isn't that complicated. Guess what? It's a bunch of people doing a lot of the same stuff. Other people just know how to amplify their voice and build a brand more effectively than others. What activities are you doing and how are you doing it? Because there are people that are growing their incomes in this market. Cool. So what does that mean and how does that correlate? Couple things I wanted to point out. This is the lore. I haven't shared this with the group in a long time. It actually has been since April. I looked it up. This is brokerage results so far year to date in southeastern Wisconsin. Okay. Brokerage results in southeastern Wisconsin. This is through January 1 through October 9th. KW coming in the number 1 spot at 14.8% market share, down 11%. Shore West number 2 at 13.8% market share, down 19. First Weber at number 3, 7.9%, down 25. Remax, 7.5% market share, down 20, so on and so forth. Okay. I'll share this with you if you have any interest in it, but here's what you should pay attention to. 1, this is the 5-county metro area. 2, okay, top 10 brokerages in the 5-county metro area. So far, year to date, MLS closed volume is down 18.5%. Okay, I share that with you because perspective is important. The top 13 firms represent almost 70% of the closed dollar volume and closed units so far year to date. And you can see where the peer groups are, especially those that for the last several years had been growing, guess what? Law of averages catches up to everybody, right? The beautiful thing is we continue to set the pace within the market. Down 11 in a down 19 environment is very, very healthy. Perspective is important. Okay. Perspective is important. It's sometimes we need to take stock in where it is that we are, because you have to look around to say, look, everybody's going through the same storm I am. Right now, what I also take a lot of pride in is this. One, it's the most productive, not only in terms of closed dollar volume and units, in terms of market share from a KW, but the community that you're a part of. On average, the average agent in the Keller Williams universe in the southeastern Wisconsin metro area closes 9 units per agent. That's 109,000 in GCI. The average agent in the GMAR makes $39,000 a year. Okay. Now imagine the agent that makes $39,000 a year and is working in an environment that's down 20%. That's tough. My point in the message is you surround yourself with an incredible community of productive people. Look around the room. Who is it that you're trying to find inspiration to, and who is it that you aspire to be, right? It's important to keep stock in. Second thing I wanted to share with you is something I get a request for very, very often. And so I wanted to provide it to you on a macro scale. Luxury. Luxury market in southeastern Wisconsin. Really, the threshold for luxury starts at around $750,000. Okay. $750,000 and above represents roughly only 13% of the market share, or 13% of the total units that are done in southeastern Wisconsin. The rest of it is done below 750,000. Okay. Couple things to point out around the community that you play within in terms of the luxury space. Mind you, remember, in the total market, we only have 14% of the market share. In the luxury space, we have 21% of the market share. We have a third more market share in the luxury space than we do in the macro space. Okay. Why is that important? Couple things. When you're trying to go after that luxury listing and the way in which that it can help you, KW Associates sell luxury homes 31% faster than the market average. KW Associates work in a price points 12% higher than the rest of the peers within the luxury space. What do I mean by that? 1.29 is our average sale in the luxury space. That's 12% higher than the luxury average within the southeastern Wisconsin. And KW Associates control 21% of the luxury market, which is 62% more market share than the number 2 player in the space. You are in an environment in which that you can take luxury listings because you're in an environment with those peers that sell luxury listings. And you should have the confidence, no matter what listing or what buyer you walk into, that you have the right backing, support, resources you need in order to be successful. Now, let's go to the other end of the extreme. Was this helpful? Cool. I'm going to continue to kind of craft and curate some of these stories based on requests that I'm getting from agents, and then share with the broader group. And then what you guys want to do with it and how you repurpose it to your name and brand, image, or likeness, whatever that may be, NIL, that's up to you guys and what you want to do. Okay. So another request that I got recently was all around MLS market share as it relates to productivity versus flat fees. Fascinating something to pay attention to. Mind you this, the market's down 18.5%, okay, year to date. Look at where the top 3 flat fee brokerages are as it relates to their performance. Down 34, down 24, down 34. What does that tell you? In a complex environment, people are willing to pay for your services. How you articulate your value proposition will ultimately determine whether you are able to win the listing. Because remind you, flat fee brokerages or flat fee providers are mainly 95% of what they do is on the listing side. Okay. You should be able to go into a listing presentation incredibly confidently against a flat fee brokerage to be able to articulate your value proposition, because people are willing to pay for your services in a complex environment. People pay for convenience. This is a complex environment. You have value, you have worth, know your worth, articulate your value proposition, and you will be fine. The way in which I know that's happening is the trends in which the flat fee brokerages are trending versus the market. Now, the reason why I share that with you isn't to call them out in any way. It's more so to put wind in your sails to say you are really freaking good at what you do. And the market is telling us that based on the way in which that our businesses are trending. Make sense? Sweet. So those are two things that I had, three things that had come up recently. And so I wanted to share those with you. You can find those on kwrealtymke.com through the team meeting slides. A couple other things that I pulled this week as it relates to perspective as we start planning into 2024. And then the one thing I would encourage you to do is, if you don't know how to do this, I would write this down. Go print your multi-year trends, go look at your trends. I would add a third column to this and say, okay, the MLS is here. My office is here. Where am I? The MLS is here. My office is here. Where am I? And I would look at this across these 6 units. These 6 units are everything that I look at as it relates to the business performance and trends when I discuss or consult people. Where's your closed units? Where's your closed volume? What is your listing sold? Where's your listing sold volume? Most importantly, the one thing I want to look at, where's your listings taken? Where's your listings taken volume? Where's your contracts written? And where's your contracts written volume? Okay. Those 4 metrics are your lead metrics. The first 4 are your lag metrics. Sorry, 8 metrics, not 6. Okay. Lead versus lag. Your leads, listings taken volume, contracts written volume. And then I would go add a third column and compare where you are versus your peer group and versus your competitive set, which is the Metro MLS. Same thing. I pulled this for Lake Country. Big shout out to the Lake Country crew. Incredibly having an incredibly productive year. Okay. You can see closed units. Again, depending on when I pull some of these data sets, which is why some of these numbers may not align. But you can see here, Lake Country as well. Pull a third column, pull your multi-year trends. If you don't know where your multi-year trends are, ask somebody on the leadership team and we can help you access it. Okay. Look at where your trends are so that you can plan effectively heading into 2024. Sound good? With that, rolling it all up is to celebrating people and the success that you guys have had. In September of 23, we paid out $4.4 million in GCI. $4.4 million. Year to date in 2023, we've paid out $40.5 million in income. Incredibly productive group of people. We're on pace to close to surpassing $60 million in income paid out this year. Okay. Residential real estate, no matter what people say to you, is a huge economic driver in our economy. Take pride in that, take respect in that, and share that with your friends and peers. Okay. From a profit sharing perspective, it's important. You know why? Because the 21st is coming up when? Friday, Saturday? Well, on Saturday, we get the privilege of paying out $80,092 in profit share for the month of September. It was up 6% versus last year. Year to date, we'll have paid out $715,000 in profit share, and that's coming to your bank accounts on October 21st. So I always do on the 21st, first thing I do at 5:30 in the morning, open that Wells Fargo app and say, ooh, baby, what do we got? So profit share is coming. 80,000 is being paid out on October 21st. Sound good? Beautiful. With that, I want to remind you of 2 things. I shared with you the market of the moment, what's happening, and I shared with you some of the softness that we're starting to see within the trends. If you don't know what that softness is, you can go back to last week's team meeting, then you can watch the recording, or you can pull the data as it relates to kwrealtymke.com and go find the data. There's the market of the moment, what's happening as it relates to the commentary and some of the things I'm paying attention to. And where this all rolls up to is, I think the thing that I got on my high horse on earlier was, you can't have $1 million goals with a minimum wage work ethic, and you got to be a hunter, not a gatherer, right? How you amplify the intensity and frequency of your prospecting and your marketing X to 2x your database and 3x your activities, 2x your database and 3x your activities, 2x your database and 3x your activities, 2x your database and 3x your activities. And guess what? Who will help you? Lindsay Wooten and the rest of the team. 2x your database, 3x your activities. You do that, you walk in and say that to me, I will die a happy man, right? So, because A, we can't avoid the reality, and B, I'm going to pull you through the market that we face in 2024 in order for you to achieve the income you desire. Make sense? Beautiful. With that, I'm flipping it over to Kadi, who's going to give you the upcoming training and events.
Good morning. Some good intensity this morning, right? I'm sitting in the front row. Maybe it's just, okay. So what do? He just told us market's down 18.5%. Katie's business has doubled this year. So if you want to know what she's doing and rip off some of the things she's doing, Coffee with a Capper, Wednesday, October 18th at 9 o'clock at the Southwest office with Katie. And then vision boards, bring your goals to life. This is a really great opportunity to clarify and maintain the focus of your goals. Maureen is leading 2 different sessions for this. Both are coming up this week. So Thursday, October 19th at 4 o'clock in Southwest. And then Friday, October 20th, this Friday at 10 a.m. at the Southwest, or excuse me, at TOSA Innovation. And then we had a really great audience on Monday for Kathy. We're bringing back another guest for contract training. Jared will not be late. He's not coming to us a little tired from the WRA convention. He'll be sharp and ready to rock Monday, October 23rd at noon. And this is via Zoom and will be recorded and posted to the YouTube channel after. We kicked off Bold last week. For those of you that were in the room, I don't think for the first time we had one negative comment on it. I think it was the best Bold launch we've had. Wait, where's our?
I think it.
Okay. I'll move on. We'll post it later. We interviewed a bunch of you who were able to attend Bold for us. If you weren't there and you still want to take it, we have next week off. So still talk to your leadership. If it's a room you want to be involved in, or you've talked to people who were in there before, come find one of us. We'll find a way to get you guys into the room. So yes, Peter.
Every time I have made an investment in KW training, that every investment has paid off. There's an ROI on everything I do. Everything, every training I go to, every event I go to, I find an opportunity that more than pays for that investment.
Yep. So Peter's just talking about the ROI on the investment of Bold. So we will definitely help you get into that room. If it's a room you want to be in, come find someone on leadership and we'll find a way to make it happen for you. And then save the date. The holiday party is Friday, December 1st at 6 o'clock at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel.
Hey, real quick on this, one plug for this. We had a planning meeting last week and we have 300 people that have already RSVP'd. That's great. I really, really appreciate that. And you're going to get another email today. If you haven't RSVP'd, please do so. It's so that we can plan accordingly to throw an incredible event for you, celebrating you with you, your spouse, your partner, and whoever wants to come. But I need your help. I need your help paying attention to your emails so that you can respond to the RSVP for me. Make sense? Beautiful. Yes, Schroeder. There's holiday chic is the theme. Holiday chic is the theme. So St. Kate Arts Hotel, if you haven't been, it's a really cool space, Excited to showcase one of Milwaukee's exquisite event spaces. All right. Reminder, no team meeting next week. You'll be back first week in November with some insights from when I was down in Austin. And we will be revamping buyer needs, so pay attention to that. And then in the first week in November, we will start collecting, listing stuff to drive more discussion amongst the group. Sound good? All right, beautiful people, have a great day. It's October 17th. Let's rock and roll.